Welcome everyone to Vested Interest. This is Shane, and before we get into the video, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who's taken the time to watch, comment, and like the videos, and a special thank you to those who subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. And for those of you who may be stopping by for the first time on this channel, we focus on dividend growth investing in companies that pay growing dividends. It's not rocket science. In my opinion, the best way to do anything, keep it as simple as possible. So it really boils down to consistently dollar cost averaging into the companies that you think are great companies that you've done research on with positive cash flow that covers the dividend. I look for companies that have a payout ratio of 75% or less, unless they're like a REIT or something like that, where they have a 90% or greater requirement by law. And I also look for companies that have a high return on their invested capital with growing dividends over time. I utilize both a dollar cost average approach, consistently investing into the stocks within the portfolio on a biweekly basis. Occasionally I'll add a new position as well. I typically cover everything I'm investing in weekly. I do weekly updates. That's what this video is here, a portfolio update. So typically my investments are done on a weekly basis. I also invest will do large purchases whenever I have extra funds. You going to get Chinese?
Sorry.
Yep, no problem.
Kelly is here with Riley. I'm gonna take
Okay,
Riley.
Callie and Riley are still here. All right. All right. I do cover all my investments on the channel. Sorry about that. That was my wife. She's going to get Chinese for dinner. My daughters have a couple friends over. So two of the girls are staying here and the other two are going to go ride with them. So she was letting me know. So again, let's jump right back into the video. I cover all my investments into the portfolio on this channel. I do not have a paid Patreon account, nor do I ever intend to have one. We all have enough to pay for, so it's free to see what I'm investing in. Just go ahead and hit the like button or the subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already. That will really help out the channel. I also have a Webull link. If you don't have a current investment account, go ahead and check that out as well. If you wanted to use that, you'd get some free stocks. I would get some free stocks. You don't have to use that. No pressure there. But I would suggest if you don't have a company that you utilize, whether it's your bank or a Webull or M1 Finance, a brokerage account, that you start one today and you start investing as soon as you can. The longer you let time be your friend, the greater your snowball will grow, faster it will grow, and the larger your portfolio will grow as well. Time for a portfolio is a friend of the portfolio. It's one of the very few times that time is your friend. In today's video, like I said, we'll be covering this week's portfolio activity. So we'll look at the dividends paid out. We'll also look at what I purchased. So let's jump right into the video. We did add $1,300 and some change in new capital. So portfolio activity started out on October 3rd. We had some dividends paid by Huntington Bankshares, ticker HBAN. And it was $25.96 paid in dividends, and they immediately, I do have the drip set on this portfolio, so they immediately went back into the portfolio about 1.9251 shares of Huntington Banks. And here you'll see it says at $13.48, and you'll notice it does not say that below. Only whenever it purchases one share or more, full share, will it tell me how much my bank anyway, and I use Ally Bank as my brokerage, will it tell me how much it costs to purchase the share. So this particular purchase was 1.9251 shares at $13.48 per share. Here below we had HP Inc., ticker HPQ. They paid out $18.75, and that bought 0.70862, so a fraction of a share there for HPQ. And HBAN is out of the financial sector, and HPQ is out of the information technology sector. Next up, we'll get all portfolio activity. At least the new capital I put in was done on the 6th. So on October 6th, which was Thursday, the market did continue to drop on Friday, but it was down a bit on Thursday. So I went ahead, that was when I was paid as well. So I went ahead and made my weekly purchases. And a lot of these you'll notice are from the companies or into the companies that I covered on my stocks to watch, stocks to buy for October video. So as that video showed, these are the companies that I'm interested in. Those four companies were Union Pacific, Whirlpool, Procter & Gamble, and Intel Corp, which was a new one we added back into the portfolio. So let's just run through them real quick. we picked up 2 more shares of Kinross Gold Corp. This is an existing position, ticker KGC. We picked up those 2 shares at $3.91 per share. And Kinross Gold is out of the material sector. HP Inc. we picked up actually 3 shares total, but broke it up into a couple purchases. So we picked up 1 share here of HP Inc., ticker HPQ, at $26.56. And HPQ, as we saw, it paid out dividends as well, and this is out of the financial sector. Intel Corp, like I said, we added back into the position. I like that it's down here in the 20s. I hope it actually drops further back down to 25, 26, where it was there briefly. So we added back in 10 more shares of Intel Corp, ticker INTC, out of the information technology sector. This is a chip. A lot of the chip manufacturers are way down right now, so this yield is very nice as well. And then here's the other 2 shares we added in HP Inc., ticker HPQ, information technology again, and these were slightly higher there at $26.75. All right, so you saw $26.56 here, $26.75 here. We added 2 shares of Procter & Gamble, ticker PG. This is out of the consumer staple sector. We added those shares at $127.52. This is another one I'd really like to build out this position. We have under 10 shares, 8 shares currently, but I'd like to get it up close to my Johnson & Johnson holdings. I have about 52 shares, I believe, in Johnson & Johnson right now, and I'd like to match that or even bring this up a little more. We added 2 more shares. This is one I added last month, Whirlpool Corporation, ticker WHR, out of the consumer discretionary sector. This is at just over 10 shares now. I think I've got 12 shares with these 2 added here. We added those 2 shares of Whirlpool, ticker WHR, at $143.97. I think this dropped back down to 140 or 139 even there on Friday, so I hope it drops back into the high 130s, even low 130s, or even 120s. I'd continue to add to this position. Really like Whirlpool right now. The dividend yield is another one that's really gotten up there. I think it's just under 5, or might even be just over 5 now if it's at the 138, 139. And lastly here, and which is actually the first, these are in reverse order. This is actually the first purchase, but it reverses the order whenever I clip them out of my Ally bank account there. We added 2 shares of Union Pacific Corp. This is another one I really want to continue to build out. So I'm going to basically add to these 3, 4 here all month and really build out these positions here over the month. Union Pacific being one of them as well. Ticker UMP is out of the industrial sector. And we added those 2 shares at $198.85. So those were the purchases on October 6th, $1,300, and like I said, some change, 35 cents there in new capital. Next up, a quick run through the portfolio totals here. The total value of the portfolio is up a little bit, $78,734.91. Most of that is probably the $1,300 that I added in new capital. It was around $7,600 last week, so some of that is reinvested dividends and a little bit of appreciation. A couple of positions are up, even though there's a lot of red in the market right now. Dividend yield continues to go up, 5.493% here, so very nice dividend yield. Anything over 5%, even anything really over 4% in my opinion is very nice. So anything over 5% is gravy. And the most important part of the portfolio, at least in my opinion, the annual dividend income continues to grow, not only with the dividends reinvested that we saw on the first slide, but also with the capital that I add to the portfolio on a weekly basis, as well as the dividend raises. We have received several dividend raises recently. Procter & Gamble was one of them. So we like to see those dividend raises. That is a raise for doing absolutely nothing but holding the dividend stock and not selling. And again, this annual dividend, whether the market is up, down, floating sideways, continues to grow. It's sitting at $4,325.25. Very nice. Really like to see that. Now a quick run through the sector allocations, and we'll wrap this one up here shortly. Communication sector is sitting at 8.56%. Consumer discretionary at 7.70%. Consumer staples at 6.07%. Energy at 9.18%. Financials is at 15.99%, and I believe that is the largest sector just by a hair there, right? 15.99%. Healthcare sitting at 10.69%. Industrials, this should continue to grow as we build out the Union Pacific. So it's up a little bit to 0.76, not quite 1% of the portfolio yet, but as I said, it will continue to grow as we build out Union Pacific. Technology is sitting at 9.46%, materials at 15.62, so this is the third largest position here. Utilities, still no utilities. We haven't quite added those back. There was a pullback this week, so maybe we'll look back at that sector for next month. Maybe not. We'll see where everything stands. And the second largest position currently is REITs and real estates at 15.98% of the portfolio. We still do not have any ETFs. And that really wraps it up. I thought I'd throw in, obviously the backyard looks quite a bit different. I didn't quite get a picture of the sunset this morning. I did sleep in a little bit, so it was nice actually to sleep in. But I did take a shot of the most recent backyard pool activity. This is after a week of work. As you can see, they have the pool in. It's filled up with water. They've got it pretty much almost all backfilled, except here where they're adding the plumbing in. They'll do a little bit of backfilling here. I think I mentioned last time I am having them put in a retaining wall here along the little L there along the retaining wall. As you can see, there's about a foot difference between the high elevation side and the low of the pool where it will be. So there it is. New pool is actually in place. They didn't break anything, lowered it down in, get the plumbing hooked up, and they'll have some work to do over next week. But I will continue to take some snaps daily, snap some pictures daily, and show you the update. And then eventually we'll get this dirt moved out of here and replant grass. And it'll actually look like a backyard again. I think I'm going to put my daughter's trampoline over on the other side here, level this out in a spot, but we'll see how the yard shakes out. I'm expecting a lot of muddy paws. My dogs are loving to play in this sand right now, so I'm expecting a pretty muddy mess in my house over the winter, but we'll see. Well, I'm just rambling now, so I'll wrap up the video. As always, appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to show me some love. Hit that thumbs up, ring the notification bell. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Join me on this journey to financial freedom. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video. Apologize for the interruptions in the beginning. Kind of threw me off a little bit, so might have rambled a little bit in this one, but hopefully not too bad. I do personally read and respond to the comments. I'm always interested to read your questions, opinions, suggestions for future topics. And this is Shane signing off, wishing peace and prosperity to you and yours. And remember, financial security comes to those who take a vested interest. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you had a great weekend. Get ready for next week. It's probably going to be another bumpy one. I'm expecting maybe a little bit more downturn in the beginning of the week. But who knows? You could see a big green day Monday and Tuesday like we did earlier this week, and then downturn towards the end of the week. You never know what the market's going to do, but just be ready to deploy that capital whenever you see value in the market. And join me for the stock pick of the day videos, where I will do just that and try to find value in the market and bring you a stock for the day that I think has presented value. All right. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this presentation should be considered financial advice. I'm only sharing my opinion and investing journey for educational and entertainment purposes. Investing involves risk. You can lose money. You should never invest any amount not comfortable losing. Always do your own research and invest based on your situation, circumstances, and select criteria, or seek the advice and counsel of a certified financial advisor.